Alright, now that we're done with the shape and texture of the pumpkin, it's time we go to lighting. So for lighting, I'm going to add 3 different lights. I'm going to add a point light, and I'm going to put this one here. Actually, all of them are point lights, so yeah. I'm going to put this one in the middle, like right there. And then this one, I'm going to put over here. Actually, we can delete that. I'm just going to copy and paste this one. And then, once we are done with that, what we're going to do, I'm going to make the color of this one a bright red, and I'm going to change the power to 1000. 1000. I'm going to come here, I'm going to change this to a darker red, and make this 1000. And then I'm finally going to do this one, maybe an orangish red color, and this is also going to be 1000. And now what we're going to do, I'm going to add a dynamic sky, and now you can just go to world properties, and I'm going to change this part over here to dynamic 1. Now what we're going to do, everything's black. Everything is black, just black. Now we're actually going to test this. This isn't our final. Never mind, it could be. Because as you can see, we have that darkish color, but that's not fully what I want. I also want to turn the brightness down. And that's going to turn the background down. So we'll change the brightness to about 0.001. And now what we're going to do, we're going to come out of this mode. And I think we can lift this up a bit more. So we're just going to keep lifting it. Make it have less light, but you can still see the pumpkins. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a plane. I'm going to scale this plane out. So that's good. Everything's on the plane. Now what we're going to do, click on my plane. I'm going to go to Materials, New. I'm going to make this maybe a type of ground color. Maybe make it a greenish color. I think that looks good. And then I'm going to make my camera. I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to move this maybe over here. That looks good. Now if we take this off, you can see that we only have the pumpkin. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up my animation thing. I'm going to go to the first frame, and I'm going to click on camera. Click on the camera, and I'm going to click I, and then location or rotation. Now that we have that done, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually rotate this a bit. Let me delete the first keyframe. So delete that. And then I'm going to move this a bit to the side over here. And then just move it like this a bit. So G. I think that looks good. Now we can go back to the 0th frame. I, location and rotation. And what we're going to do with the lights we're going to do something different with those. Now actually, before we do anything else, let's make a few collections. I mean this lights and all of these. We're going to go into this. No, not that. It goes into lights. We're going to rename that lights and camera. Lights and camera. And then this scene is going to be called pumpkin. No, not scene, this collection. Pumpkin. And we're going to put the plane into there. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to take my point, I'm going to take my lights, and while hovering over power, I'm going to click I, and I'm going to do that for every one of these. And now what I'm going to do, now I want this to be 900 frames, which is 30 seconds. So I'm going to go to the 50th frame, and I'm going to make the power go down. And we're going to do that for all of them. I'm going to change this to 870. 830. And now let's look at how this looks. Play from the beginning. Okay, well there's no change really, but let's look at that again. Okay, well the flickering I want is not exactly working, but for now that is okay. I think flickering we can keep out for now, but if you want to, you can just keep on going with the multiple frames and adding that flickering. And now the next thing I want to do, the lights, no, sorry, the pumpkins. I want to add a keyframe for the pumpkins, and it is for the location. No. It should be in 0 when you do this. Make sure it's in 0. Then I, location, I, location, I, location. And this is because we're going to go to the 50th frame. I'm going to click on, no, not the 50th. Actually, let's see. What is 25 times 25? 625. So we're going to go to 625th frame. And we're going to click on all 3 of our pumpkins. We're going to move them to the side. Make sure you can't see them. I, location. And now, for all 3 of them, there's going to be one of those. So now what we're going to do, now that we have these out, we're also going to do the same thing with the lights. So go to 0. Then we're going to go to 625. And we're going to move this out, I, location. Now what we can do, I'm going to add a ghost, which I think is going to be really cool. And to do that, we're going to need to add, and we're going to add a cylinder. Now, once we've added that cylinder, what we're going to do, I actually only want to make the face. So to do that, we're actually going to move this into the camera, make it look like that. And then S to scale. We're going to scale this down. And then we're going to go into edit mode. And once we're in edit mode, I'm going to take the top face and I'm going to S to scale, E to extrude. I'm going to move this, S to scale, E to extrude, and S to scale. Now once we're done with that, I'm going to go out of edit mode, back into object mode. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make my own face for my ghost. And to do that, I'm going to add a plane. Add plane. And now once we have this plane, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to go to the z-axis. We're going to edit this. Now I'm going to take one of the corners, G to grab. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this down. I think that looks good for the eyes. We're going to Control C, Control V this. I'm going to move it to the side. And I'm going to find out which rotation this should be. So what happened there? So I think this would be Y. So 180 in the y-axis. And then when we're done with that, we're just going to move this to the side. And then there, we have our eyes. And now that we have our eyes, we can make our mouth. So add, and we're going to add a plane. Now for the mouth, what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this over here, Z, and I'm going to, let's see, can we make loop cuts? Yes, we can. We're going to add a lot of loop cuts. I don't know how many in specific, but we're going to definitely add a lot of them. I think that is enough. Now what I can do, I'm going to take this, G, put this here, G, then I'm going to put this here, I'm going to put this here, same thing here, I'm going to put this here, I'm going to put this here, put that there, put this here. Then I think I can just stretch this out. So I want to make this a bit more equal. And to do that, we're going to delete this point. Shift F, and then F, and now we have that. Actually, let's delete this point, vertices, and now we can just make a face over here, F, and there we go. Now we can take this, we can move it to the side. I'm gonna bring this up a bit, bring this down a bit. And there, I think that is our mouth. And then we're going to move this to the side. And actually, I think we can change the rotation to 180 in the X to make it look like he's sort of frowning. Now, once we have that, I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to convert this to a mesh. Now once I did that, let me convert to a mesh. Okay, never mind, do not convert it to a mesh because it is already a mesh. I'm going to go into, now before we do that, Control J, I'm going to join them, I'm going to go into edit mode and face select. I'm going to select all these faces and E to extrude. So I think that's good. Go back into it, object mode. I'm going to twist this. And I'm also going to make it smaller. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this into the ghost's face. So G to grab, we're going to move it here. And then scale it a bit more actually. And to make it be seen on camera, I'm going to move it. And then rotate it a bit. There we go. I think that's good. I'll take both of these, and actually I'm going to turn it a bit, and then move it. So that looks good. Now what we're going to do we're going to click on our ghost. I'm going to add modifier, and I'm going to add a Boolean modifier. And our plane is going to be our object. I'm going to click on fast. Now we can hide our plane. And if you can see, that created a cut into our ghost. Now, I don't think you can see it right now, but it is there. If you need to, you can adjust it. Like if you see, my eyes are not in the ghost, so my eyes would not cut. But now, if I remove that, you can see that my ghost has those. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go into shading. I'm going to find my ghost. And I'm going to hide a lot of the stuff. I'm going to hide the camera. Then I'm going to go into edit mode with my ghost. And actually, no, not edit mode. What I am going to do is I'm going to get my plane. Most likely what I want to do, I want to make my plane red. That way it might work, I'm not sure if it will. Let me quickly take out my dynamic sky. Let me raise the brightness up. So usually, if you take that out, it should become red, but it doesn't, and that is okay. We can actually add a light there, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, to add a light into the ghost, we're actually going to need to add one modifier to the ghost. It's going to be called the solidify modifier. So choose that. And then we're going to click on the ghost. Our ghost is going to have a white material, a white color. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to insert into the new slot, and I'm going to click on my ghost material, and I'm going to click on these two papers, new material. It basically just copied my old material. And now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it red. Now that I'm done with that, I am going to come back to my solidify modifier. I'm going to open materials, and I'm going to change the material offset and the rim to 1. Now, as you can see, it became red, but for some reason, okay, it's because my other eye was not inserted. Let me move this in a bit more. Actually, let me just remove the color here and then try it. Okay, it's still not working. So we're gonna take our plane. I'm gonna go back to layout. I'm going to move this in. So yeah, as you can see, it's not exactly inserted incorrectly. So I'm going to insert that. I'm also going to rotate it a bit. And now if I go to shading and remove it, it is still not red. Why is that? Okay, well, another way. So what we're going to do, it actually kind of does look scary if one eye is just not there. So I think you can keep it like that. If it works for you, keep it like that. So what I'm going to do next, that's really the only thing I needed to do. What I can do now, I can add a light point. Where is that light? It's over here in the back. So I'm gonna pull that in real quick. Pull that in. I'm gonna plop it into the ghost. Put it about right there. And now, this is your choice. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna go to shading. I'm gonna click on the ghost. And slot 2, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to increase my subsurface to 0.02. Enter. And the subsurface radius, everything should be at 1. And then once you're done with that, we're gonna copy and paste this. Actually, no, don't do that. We're gonna keep it like this. And what we're going to do, alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to add our ghost into our animation. And what we're going to do, I'm gonna bring back the camera. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna go to the 0th frame. Actually, no, I'm gonna go to the 625th frame. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to press I, location, and then I'm gonna go back to the 0th frame. And here, I'm gonna move the ghost out, I, and location. So now, if we play this and wait until 600th frame, actually no, it's doing it the wrong way. So instead for this keyframe, actually what we're going to do, we move this here, and then I think what we can do, we can keep this here for the 0th frame. Let's actually bring this down for the 0th frame instead. And now, what we're going to do, I'm gonna I to insert a keyframe, location, and then at the 600th, my ghost should be right there. So I'm gonna move it down. My ghost should be right there. So I, location, and now if you play this, you can see our ghost is going to move up. So there's our little ghost animation. Now for our last part, what we're going to do, probably at the 28th second, so 28 times 28, 700, so 784, what I'm going to do, my ghost is going to leave. So my ghost should be here by the 784th frame, and it should start moving at the 700th frame. At the 700th frame, it should still be up here. We also have to make sure that our face comes down with our ghost as well. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go to the 0th frame. No, not the 0th. I'm going to go to the 625th frame. And because it's perfect here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take our cylinder, and I'm going to take our plane. I'm just going to Control J these. Control J. Control J. Okay, let me do that again. Control J. Okay, I don't think I can actually Control J this. I can do it then, but then it would show. So I think it would be scarier if the face just stayed there. So actually, to be honest, we can keep it like that. Just the face randomly appears. So of course, I'm going to click on my ghost. And what frame is this? My 86th frame, I guess. Now here, I think what should pop up should be Happy Halloween in a specific text. So what we're going to do, I'm going to add text, and we're going to rotate this in the y-axis and the z-axis, so that we're here, then G, S, G, and put the text here, and go into edit mode, and I'm gonna write Happy Halloween, and then I'm gonna make this into the middle by doing that. Object mode, S to scale. So my Happy Halloween is over here. And then I'm going to go back into edit mode. And enter, no, backspace. Move by Coder Gamer. And then I'm going to move this back. And I do have a specific font for this, so I'm going to show you how to add that. We'll just make this a bit more centered by putting this back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into this font tab here, and I'm going to scroll down and go to font. Here I'm going to click on the file button, and I'm going to search up the one I want. So I'm choosing one called Chiller Regular, and that's going to sort of make it a scary look. And I'm going to click I, location, and then at the 700th frame, which we said our ghost would start moving, our text should be here. So I, location. So at this point, we're done. We just need to add color to our text. And once you are done with that, I am pretty much sure you should be done at this point. So if we play from the 700th frame, let's see how it looks. Now, of course, because it's laggy, it won't work for me because it's still rendering. but of course, it will work at the end. And well, thank you for watching. That was my Blender special, my Halloween special, and I will see you all later.